Hello everyone, welcome to Fullmoon Movies. Some animated films try to impress you with worlds. Others try to overwhelm you with spectacle. Elio does something far more difficult. It asks you to sit quietly with a child who feels unseen, unheard, and unsure of where he belongs. And in doing so, it becomes one of Pixar's most emotionally sincere films in recent years. At its core, Elio is not really about space, aliens, or intergalactic councils. They are merely the setting. The real story is about loneliness, identity, and the quiet desperation of wanting to matter. Elio is a boy who doesn't feel like he fits anywhere on Earth. He struggles socially, feels disconnected from his peers, and carries an unspoken belief that the world would be a better place if he were somewhere else. When he is accidentally mistaken as Earth's ambassador to an alien civilization, the film doesn't treat this as wish fulfillment. In fact, it treats it as a test. Now, what makes Elio quite powerful is how it frames escapism. Elio's desire to be abducted by aliens isn't rooted in curiosity, it's rooted in emotional exhaustion. He wants escape, not adventure. Pixar has explored loneliness before, but here it is handled with restraint. There are no big speeches early on, no dramatic cues telling you how to feel. Instead, the film let silence do the work. Awkward pauses, missed connections, moments where Elio speaks, but no one really listens. Once Elio enters the alien world, the film resists the temptation to turn into a loud sci-fi comedy. The alien design are imaginative and playful, but they are not the emotional centerpiece. The emotional center remains Elio himself, how he reacts, how he hides, and how he tries to perform confidence while feeling deeply unsure. His role as a leader of Earth is almost ironic. He can barely articulate his own feelings, yet he is expected to represent an entire planet. Now, this is where Elio distinguishes itself from the many animated movies. The story is not about becoming a hero through action, it's about becoming visible through honesty. Elio doesn't just suddenly transform into a confident child. He does not defeat a villain in a traditional sense. His growth is internal, incremental, and fragile. The films understand that the real emotional growth rarely comes with fireworks. The supporting characters, both human and alien, are written with care, but they never overshadow Elio. His guardian figure, in particular, represents a kind of love that exists alongside misunderstanding. There is affection, responsibility, and care, but also emotional distance. The film subtly acknowledges how adults, even well meaning ones, can fail to see the inner lives of children simply because they assume resilience instead of listening. Visually, Elio is a classic Pixar restraint paired with modern polish. The Earth scenes feel grounded, slightly muted, almost ordinary. The alien world, by contrast, bursts with color and strange geometry, but never in a way that feels chaotic. The contrast reinforces Elio's internal divide, a dull world he wants to escape versus a vibrant place that seems to accept him. Yet the film is careful not to present a fantasy as the solution. The alien world is not perfect either. Acceptance there is conditional. Responsibility still exists. Fear still exists. One of the film's smartest decisions is how it handles communication. Language barriers, misunderstandings, and misinterpretations are not just comedic devices, but they are metaphors. Elio struggles to communicate on Earth and he struggles to communicate in space. Now, this setting changes, but the emotional challenge remains the same. This reinforces the idea that belonging is not about location, it's about connection. Musically, the score supports the film without overpowering it. There is gentleness to the compositions, often leaning into melancholy rather than triumph. This choice really matters. Elio does not rush towards emotional release. It allows feelings to sit unresolved for long stretches, trusting that the audience, especially the younger viewers, to handle the emotional complexity. Now, what truly elevates Elio is its refusal to simplify childhood pain. The film does not suggest that loneliness disappears once you make friends. It does not claim that confidence arrives all at once. Instead, it suggests that something far more honest, that being seen, even briefly, can change how you see yourself. Elio's journey is not just about becoming extraordinary, it's about realizing he already matters. In a way, Elio feels like a spiritual cousin of earlier Pixar films such as Inside Out of Luca, but it's quieter, less overly metaphorical. It trusts subtext, it trusts pauses. It trusts that children understand more than adults often give them credit for. Now, by the time the film reaches its conclusion, resolution feels earned not because everything is fixed, but because everything has shifted. Elio does not return as a different child, he returns as the same child, but with a slightly stronger sense of self. And that difference, though subtle, feels profound. In the current landscape of animation where energy and noise often replace emotional nuance, Elio stands out by doing less and meaning more. It reminds us that stories don't really need to be loud to be lasting, they just need to be honest. Elio is not Pixar's most ambitious film in terms of world building, but it may be one of the most emotionally precise. It captures a feeling many of us recognize but rarely articulate, that the feeling of being present yet invisible. And in giving that feeling space, the film quietly tells its audience, especially its youngest ones, you are seen. And sometimes that is more powerful than saving the universe. Now, this movie is a must watch.